My handle is Johnathanblade. When YouTuber Erica Griffin introduced the idea of using an old phone as a daily carry, I said perfect. I have a drawer full of old phones, and this was something that I had wanted to play with anyway. I really wanted to reach way back and use my old MyTouch 3G, but I already knew that the camera on that phone wouldn't quite meet my daily needs. Enter 2011's T-Mobile exclusive HTC's MyTouch 4G Slide. This was a fine device in its time. The MyTouch 4G Slide was one of the first Android phones to support a dual-core processor with 768 megs of RAM, impressive for the time. The Sense UI branch, Espresso 3.0, provided a user experience that was vastly superior to the stock Android of its day, and the phone came with advanced features such as the Genius button, providing for the time advanced assistant features. Find a Pizza Hut. Although this was cutting edge in 2011, I knew that with no LTE or NFC support and very little onboard storage, I wouldn't be able to use this as a parity device for my current phone. I had to think about this experiment in feature terms. If I were to use a feature phone, what are the basic limited set of features that I would need to make it functional for me? The phone starts off with quite a bit. One nifty feature that I would show you if I could is that, like old camcorders, the MyTouch 4G Slide can output to a television from its 3.5 headphone jack to RCA AV cables. The default media app is comprehensive, even including support for media casting through DLNA and FM radio. The default camera app offers just enough functionality, as does the Notes app, but I had to think about what else I really needed on any given day. One huge thing that influenced my decision was that whatever radio bands the phone used for HSPA Plus in its day either no longer existed or had been repurposed for LTE. Only 2G worked on mobile, so I had to find vital connectivity apps that would work on 2G data. There aren't many. This was important to me because with the age of the OS, it is inherently insecure, and I wouldn't be using the phone on any wireless networks outside of my home. As Facebook Messenger is my primary communication service over even SMS, the low-resource Facebook Messenger Lite was a must-to-have. I also sideloaded the official but not domestically available Facebook Lite app. I needed a low-resource browser, as the stock browser hasn't been updated in nearly 8 years. It wasn't going to work with a lot of sites anyway. Opera Mini to the rescue. I like to catch up on news as it comes in through the day as well. Mobile Twitter through Opera Mini satisfied that need. I listen to podcasts throughout my workday, and fortunately the low-resource Podkicker is still supported on Android 2.3. The stock HTC keyboard is cramped and awful, but instead of installing a third-party keyboard, I decided to refamiliarize myself with the hardware keyboard. It's better than the soft keyboard, and in the modern age it's novel, but I wouldn't exactly call it a joy to use. To wrap up the prep, the MyTouch 4G Slide works with my Bluetooth headset. I also popped in an SD card, which can be up to 32 gigs in size, for files and to supplement the paltry 4 gigs of internal storage for apps, which could still be moved to external storage in Android 2.3. I had everything that I really needed for a Spartan but functional experience on at least a secondary communications device, with the camera being surprisingly not terrible. I always have my work phone with me during work hours, so with my particular set of objectives in mind, I could have used this as a second phone indefinitely. I went 3 days. What happened? Well, one huge issue that came up almost immediately was that I was unable to sign into the device with my primary Google account. I think it has something to do with having two-factor authentication set up for that account, but the only service that I absolutely need short-term is Google Voice. And my work phone can access that, so we should have been good to go, but that battery life though. Going in, I fully expected to see poor battery life. This 7-year-old device is still on its original battery after all. What I did not remember or expect was the glacial pace at which the phone charged. I can live with 2 hours or less of screen on time, but if the battery was at 40% at noon and would take 6 hours to get back to 100%, that was a problem with which I cannot live. I don't have to charge at midday, but if I don't, then I get to have a phone for 3/4 of a workday and then nothing until the next day, and I could not accept that compromise. I did learn that I would probably be happy using something like the new Nokia 3310 as a short-term backup. Not long-term though. I use my phone as a primary computing device over my PC. I need access to my Google services, and as a T-Mobile user, I am too used to having access to functionally unlimited LTE data wherever I am. This was fun. I don't really have a closing thought, so let's look at that peacock one more time. And thanks for watching.